stranger to you, moves in time with your lonely mood. He can't see you, who tells your future when you sing the blues, who tells your future when you sing the blues. He can't see you.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
We are concerned about troubling and irresponsible one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Good evening, all. Thank you for joining us. After a period of unprecedented turmoil following the rise of the novel Theban virus, Lord Oedipus has decided to host this online town hall. We will be learning what efforts his administration has taken towards slowing the spread of the virus and whether or not a cure is in our foreseeable future.
Yes, and while the shelter-in-place orders around Thebes have prevented us from meeting in person, thanks to our partners at Hermes Video Communication, we have established a link with which we might directly communicate with the Palace of Thebes.
Throughout the following forum, we will be taking your comments and questions and displaying them in the chat window attached to this app. We will address them when possible, but please note, as this is a live event and new information is coming in all the time, we may not be able to get to them all.
I've just received word that Lord Oedipus is joining the call. We go now to his opening remarks.
Good evening, everyone. Very big day today. I want to start out by saying that our love and prayers go out to all those who have lost a cherished friend or family member to the virus. Amidst our grief, we've been making tremendous strides toward combating this invisible enemy.
Excuse me, my lord.
Yes?
My lord, we have seen little evidence of any tremendous strides. People go to the markets with their faces covered. Most businesses are still shut. Everyone is stuck at home. There has been little to no testing, so we don't even know how widespread the problem is. Our city of Thebes is succumbing to the virus, and it doesn't appear as if you or your administration is doing anything about it. We need you to take more aggressive action before things spiral out of control.
Did you have a question, or is this your town hall now?
Many districts leaders in the city are saying that they have heard very little from your team and have received next to no support. People are getting sick and dying because they don't have the proper supplies to fight this virus. What specific actions has your administration taken to help us, if any? Can the people of Thebes expect anything from their leader? Does our leader realize that the city of Thebes won't be worth ruling if there's no one left to live in it?
These are very misleading questions, and I'd like to advise your network to get themselves a new reporter. You're terrible, completely misrepresenting me and what I am doing. Do you think anyone in this room is as worried as me? Whenever each of you wakes up, all you do is worry about whether or not you're going to get sick. I have to worry about the entire city getting sick. I promise I'm doing much more to stop this than you or your little fake news station is, so think about that the next time you try to open your mouth. Moving on.
My lord, you have not answered the question.
I'm done talking to you.
My lord, the people of Thebes have a right to know what our leadership is doing about this virus.
Okay, all right. Calm down. Throwing a fit will get you nowhere, Missy. Do you understand me? Good girl. I have sent my wife's brother, Creon, to get advice from Pytho. We have great prophets at Pytho, in direct communication with Apollo himself. Whatever Apollo says to do, I will do. Happy?
I've just received word that Creon is joining us now.
Great. Hopefully this young lady will remember her manners with him. Creon, my brother, what news do you bring from Pytho?
Good news, I'm happy to say. Maybe we should have a private discussion about it before making a formal statement?
Nonsense. This girl wants an answer, so we're going to give it to her now.
Very well. Good evening, everyone. The prophets say that this disease stems from a single person. The gods have placed the disease upon us as punishment for not driving out a killer among us. If we can get rid of him, the virus will subside.
Well, who was the victim of this killer?
Before you took power here, Oedipus, we were ruled by a man named Laius.
I've heard of him.
The prophets say that we are to punish his murderer. Then the gods will be appeased.
Well, to begin with, where was he killed?
He left Thebes with a small group of people, but never came back. A lone survivor returned the following day and told us that they had been set upon by a group of armed assailants.
Well, why wasn't there an investigation? Why is this now my problem?
We were in disarray, my lord. With no clear leader among us, the city was crumbling. We had no time to look into mysterious crimes when we had more immediate concerns. It wasn't until the Sphinx's terrible song brought you forward to lead us that we were able to organize ourselves.
Remember the Sphinx? Remember how I took care of that all for you? Keep that in mind the next time you try and decide to smear me with these awful questions. The people of Thebes elected me because they know I get results. You all seem to forget your role of telling them what a good job I'm doing. It's mind-boggling how ungrateful you all are. Even if I do this, even if I do fix it, I'm sure you'll still find some way to make me out to be the cause. In fact, I want her removed from this conference.
My lord, you cannot possibly remove me from this call.
Yes, I can. I don't think your station understands what a privilege your palace press pass is. Hopefully, this will make them reconsider sending in any more 2-bit reporters.
My lord, you cannot attack!
Back to business. I know these are terrible times, everyone. I know you're all scared of what may come if this virus goes along unchecked, but don't worry. My administration will put a stop to it for me and for the people who put me in office. Creon and I are going to discuss this further. We will be back in a moment.
Inspirational words from the King of Thebes. Shame about that other reporter, but I think in trying times like this, we need to remember that there are some things bigger than ourselves, and that we should be doing our best to help and not hinder our leadership.
Anyway, to return to the news Lord Creon has shared with us. We have just learned from the prophets at Pytho that the novel Theban virus is, in fact, a curse placed upon us by the gods for crimes unsolved. We turn now to comments from viewers to gauge the people's reaction.
A generally fair response so far. God loves Oedipus too, writes, the gods have given this king so much wisdom and guidance. May the gods bless him. praying daily for him, his family, and the honest people on his team. I agree with you, ma'am. As dire as the advent of the Theban virus has been, I count myself lucky that it came in such a time of such strong leadership from the Theban government.
Let's not settle back yet. Shags31 writes, I'm young, but I have a chronic illness, compromised immune system, and 10% of my lung function is dead. If I catch this, I'm not convinced I can live to tell about it. Stay home if you're sick. This viewer brings up an important point that I'm sure many members of our population need to hear again. Unless it is absolutely necessary that you go out, do not leave your homes. Until we have contained the spread of this virus, and you are putting your life and the lives of those around you at risk. Stay home. All my best to the viewer who sent in this comment. Stay safe.
Thank you all for your comments so far. I have just received word that Lord Oedipus will be joining us shortly. Keep sending in your messages and we'll get back to them on the next break.
All right, everyone. I would like to formally announce my intent to find the murderer of Laius, the previous king of Thebes. We're going to catch them, bring them to justice, and finally be rid of this terrible virus. But I can't do this alone. As you all know, I'm a recent citizen of Thebes, and so I must call upon you, my Theban people, to help me help you. If any Theban citizen has knowledge of the man who murdered Laius, I demand you come forward and tell the administration. Even if you are the guilty party, don't worry. I'm a kind man, very just. You'll suffer nothing more unpleasant than a quick deportation from our lands. Or if you suspect it's another man, some illegal alien who's found his way into our beloved city, then come forward. You'll make a profit. I'll be grateful, and your fellow Thebans will too. But if you are silent, hiding the truth from your fellow countrymen in hopes of protecting a friend or a loved one, hear me now. From here on out, I declare it illegal to fraternize with any person suspected to be involved with the murder of Laius. You may not speak with them. You may not provide them services. You may not let them into our homes. No, these people pollute our shining city, and all those who protect them are just as terrible in my book. That is what my good friend Apollo made clear to me, and I will stand strong as an ally of the god and a friend to the victim of this terrible crime. You may think I'm being too harsh, too unjust. I'll bet that's what these reporters are thinking. Look at them. But I'm fair, fairer than most. And to prove it, if ever I find out that I myself have helped this fugitive, then I call this punishment down upon myself as well. But I know I'm not at fault here. I think the people who came before me, terrible people, losers, really, failed our city when they didn't solve this murder right away. Yes, the Theban people deserve better, and I'm going to give it to them. I'll fight for this victim as if he were my own father. And if anyone refuses to cooperate, to join me in this good fight for our city, I ask the gods to punish them, to punish the enemies of my administration, the enemies of Thebes.
My lord, the people don't know who murdered Laius, but since Apollo has asked you to get rid of this man, might Apollo also tell you who he is?
That's not a bad idea, but I'm just a man. I can't make the gods tell me everything. Believe me, I've tried. But these are very hard to work with, these gods.
Has your administration considered consulting anyone else on the matter?
Oh, yes. We're getting our best people on this, believe me. The best. My brother Creon has already sent for Lord Tiresias.
This being the prophet Tiresias, known for his regular communications with Apollo?
You've heard of him. Great guy. Top of his field, really. We'll get the answers we need from him, and then we can all wave goodbye to this damned virus. You and your people can finally write a good headline.
Sure. I've just received word that Tiresias will be joining us now.
Tiresias, I've been told you're one of the top experts in our intelligence field. No one knows Apollo's will better than you. Even though you cannot see, I'm sure you're aware of this terrible virus we've all been dealing with. Our hopes lie with you. In case you haven't heard, when we previously consulted with Apollo, we learned that to end this epidemic, we must discover who is responsible for the death of Laius, then either drive them out or end their lives. Don't be afraid to be frank with us all. Use your powers to help us end this crisis. Save our lives.
How dreadful it can be to have wisdom when it brings no benefit to the man who possesses it. There's no point in giving my advice. I shouldn't have come.
What's the matter? Are you feeling sick?
I will say nothing. This is the best way to handle it. Best for both you and me.
You're breaking the law when you withhold information that can help us. A true patriot wouldn't do that.
I've seen you spouting nonsense that ultimately helps no one. I won't do the same.
You can't choose to deny us the answers we seek. You see all these reporters? We're all waiting on you. The city is waiting on you.
You're a narrow-minded fool. I won't share that which I know you deny.
Why do you say that? Are you abandoning us, your fellow Thebans? Would you leave us all to die?
I refuse to cause more unnecessary pain. To anyone, I've nothing more to say.
You're worse than this virus. It's like talking to a wall. History won't forget how useless you're being, how insensitive to our suffering.
Go ahead, insult me. You miss the point of my silence.
Why wouldn't I insult you? You're openly disrespecting my city.
Though I hold my tongue now, these things will still come to pass.
Your job is to give me the information I seek.
That's my final word. Go on, fester, rile yourself up.
I'll tell you what I think, beggar. This sickness probably stems from you. Everyone, make sure to get that down. I'll bet Tiresias here was in collusion with those who killed Laius. In fact, if he wasn't blind, I'd say he did it himself.
Is that so? I suggest that you remember your decree and begin preparing for your punishment. You made this happen. You are the problem.
So now it's my fault. Tell me, do you really think you'll get away with saying that?
What could you charge me with? I deal in the truth, and the truth protects me.
And where did you get this truth? Your practice?
From you. You're showing it to me right now.
Excuse me? What do you mean?
Are you really this dull, or am I being tested?
You're not being clear.
You are the murderer you seek.
Don't listen to him. That is fake news.
Are your ears finally listening? Finally? Shall I go on?
Go right ahead. You're just wasting your breath.
Those you hold close will bring you infamy. You live in an evil you will deny until absolute oblivion.
You really think you'll get away with saying this?
If truth holds any power, yes.
It does, for any man but you. You really are blind, not just to the world, but to the cries of our fellow countrymen. It's not just your eyes that are broken, but your ears and your mind.
May the gods be with you, you poor fool.
Don't try and scare me, dead eyes. I have nothing to fear from a man who can't even tell me the color of my own shirt.
I'm not the one who controls your demise. Wait and see.
Did someone put you up to this? Was it Creon?
Creon is not involved by any means. Look in the mirror.
It breaks my heart. The envy that comes with money, power, and superior possession. After all I've done for this city, this envy has still inspired Creon, my old trusted friend, to secretly conspire to overthrow my office, which the city gave me. I didn't seek it out. And now he's paid off this double-dealing quack, this crafty, bogus speaker, who only has eyes for his own advantage and is blind in every other way. Come now, if you're really a so-called prophet, where's the proof? When the Sphinx, that singing bitch, was here, terrorizing the city, you said nothing to set the people free. Why not? Her riddle wasn't something that some layman could solve. No, it was a job for a prophet. But there the people saw how useless your knowledge was. No answers from the birds, no solutions from the gods. But when I came along, Oedipus, the idiot, knowing nothing at all, and I finished her off. How? With my wits, not with bird watching. That man, the man who did what you could not, is who you are trying to overthrow now, hoping, no doubt, to stand beside Creon once he's replaced me. But you and your conspirator will regret this sorry attempt. If you didn't look so old and weak, I'd have you dragged off right now.
My lords, if we could return to the matter of the virus, the people need answers. This is helping no one.
You may be the king, but I've still the right to answer you. I don't serve you. I don't serve Creon. I serve the greater good. I serve the truth. You mock my blindness, but with your own eyes, you cannot see the horrors of your life, your house, your past. It's all blurred and confused. You are this city's own worst enemy, and you don't even know it. Your mother and father's dreaded curse comes closer still, and we'll all be blinded because of it. A host of evils will go unseen, and all shall suffer for your utter contempt for the truth. So go on, stay the course, insult my nature, insult my blindness. All will become clear soon enough, and then it won't.
God, can someone shut him up? I've heard enough. Let your insolence show you the way out of this call, and then out of my city. You better hope I never hear from you again.
I wouldn't have said anything, but you needed someone to spell it all out for you, right? Someone to coddle the king.
I didn't know you had such a nasty tongue, Tiresias. You bold, blind bat.
Not a nasty tongue, just aged, fermented. Ask your parents. They found my words to be quite vintage.
Huh? What? Wait, what about my parents?
Today will doom us all.
God damn it! Stop with these riddles!
Well, when it comes to solving riddles, aren't you the best there is?
Go ahead. Mock the skill that made me great.
That very skill will be your downfall.
It saved the city. That's enough for me. Enough of these lies. I don't have anything to prove to the likes of you.
Then I'm finished. Someone assist me, please.
Yes, log him out. Thank you for that lovely waste of breath and for wasting our city's time.
I've said what I could. Angry looks and empty threats don't worry me, but I worry for the people of Thebes, and so I ask them to listen closely. The man who killed Laius, the man who is the source of this terrible disease, is right here. Once a stranger to us, he will be revealed to be a native son of this land. Wealth will turn to want in his hands. Though born with sight, he will die without, and this blindness will touch you all in turn. His children's brother and father, his mother's son and husband. He lovingly sowed his father's field, but not before burying him. Think on this. See if I have led you astray. If you find that I have lied to you, you may have my neck.
A stunning development between the king of Thebes and the prophet Tiresias just moments ago. After summoning the prophet, famous for his ability to interpret Apollo's will, Tiresias levied an extraordinary accusation against Lord Oedipus, stating that he was, in fact, the murderer to which the virus is linked.
Hold on, let's all calm down here. Lord Oedipus? Can anyone really believe this? Something's missing here. When was the last time that Tiresias was in here for anything? And now when the leadership is looking for the source of the virus, he resurfaces and declares that the perpetrator was our king? I don't know. If you ask me, things are just a little bit too convenient. And let's not forget that Oedipus didn't call Tiresias here himself. It was Creon's recommendation.
It was a sensible recommendation. Tiresias has a long recorded history.
I see we've got a lot of comments coming in from the public. Deep State Date 448 writes, big government and the intelligence community at Pytho are hiding something. They have an unholy alliance, and this alliance is run by elitists like Tiresias, who believe the average Theban is a rube, who is stupid and incapable of figuring things out for themselves. I wouldn't go so far as to say that there's a deep state within Thebes, but I think this viewer has a point. Tiresias most commonly only shares his views when he's called by those in the upper echelons of our society. Could it be that he's lost touch? That what he says is no longer in the people's best interest?
Tiresias Eyebrows writes in, Tiresias has a point, and we shouldn't discount what he says. Tiresias at least spoke clearly and stated facts, and you don't even want to investigate what was said and would rather follow Oedipus blindly? I think this viewer has a point. As bold as the accusations against Oedipus are, we should be following whatever leads we have on the source of this virus. Nothing should be off limits. Our citizens' lives are in the balance.
Not just our citizens' lives, but also their tax dollars. Think about it. We could spend valuable time and resources looking into every little nuance of what Tiresias said. But if he's wrong, what do we end up with? Nothing. Worse than nothing. How will the people of Thebes feel knowing that we were chasing after the words of some out-of-touch prophet while they've been succumbing to the virus? The money we'd spend investigating such a riotous claim could and should be made available to Lord Oedipus to use himself. In these times, he'd know what best to use it for.
We cannot be letting Lord Oedipus throw money this way and that, not when we don't know if it will do any good or what he's even doing with it. Tiresias' claims are worth investigating. Even if it wasn't the Lord Oedipus, Tiresias' words could help point us in the...
Breaking news! Lord Oedipus has made an online accusation against Creon. He declares that Creon has plotted treason against Oedipus and his administration and is demanding his arrest.
What are you talking about?
What does this mean for the Theban administration? Is Creon a bad player? Will getting him out of office make it easier for Lord Oedipus to deal with this crisis?
That's jumping to conclusions, and you know it. Viewers, I have pulled up the accusation for myself. Nothing about it is in line with the long-established norms for indictment. This is just throwing words about.
Long-established norms. These are extraordinary times. Lord Oedipus cannot be wasting precious time paying heed to each and every little arbitrary convention.
Wait. Creon is contacting us now. Lord Creon, any comment on the accusations against you by Oedipus?
Comment? Of course I've got a comment. That shameless Cretan Oedipus has no right to denounce me like this. The times are terrible enough. And now this? Treason? If any Theban citizen believes that I'd ever be involved in a plot against our leadership and the crown, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. He's gone too far this time. I'm the people's friend and ally. Why would I ever consider doing anything against their best interest?
These accusations stemmed from your summoning of the prophet Tiresias, who has accused Oedipus of being guilty of the very crimes he's doing his best to solve.
Has he lost his mind? How could I have known that he would do that? Tiresias is the leading member of our intelligence community. No one knows Apollo's will better. Anyone in my position would have called him. I can't be responsible if he's lost his touch.
Who says that he has?
I've just received word that Oedipus will be joining us now.
Great. Let's clear the air on this before it gets any worse.
It's you. What are you doing, talking to the press? It's not enough that you plotted against me with that so-called prophet. Now you're lying to them yourself. What kind of an idiot do you take me for? Did you really think I wouldn't find out about your schemes? I ought to have you forcefully removed from our city for slander. You and any one of you reporters dumb enough to report his lies.
Do you hear yourself? Stop spreading all this trash and just listen to me for a moment.
Trash? Do you hear him? I'm the one spreading trash.
Just hear me out.
Just don't deny that you have betrayed your country and your people.
Oedipus, I need you to listen.
Listen to what? I heard everything just fine from that puppet Tiresias. It's you who needs to listen to me. You don't turn your back on your family, on me, without consequences.
I agree with you. That's true. But what have I done that qualifies as treason?
You intentionally summoned that blind beggar to spread lies and slander about me before the people of Thebes.
Tiresias is one of the most respected prophets in our retinue. Anyone in my position would have done the same thing.
The Laius fiasco. When did that happen?
What? I'm not following you.
When Laius disappeared, when he was killed.
It was a long time ago.
And was that blind beggar practicing his so-called art then?
Yes, he was top of our field even then.
Did he ever mention me at the time of the murder?
No, he did not.
Then why is he leveling blame at me now? If he's so wise, why didn't he speak up back then? Explain that to me. Exactly. What other explanation is there? Creon, my own brother-in-law, has used this sightless seer to try and turn the people of Thebes against me. He would like nothing more than for this virus to be blamed on me so that he may remove me from power and step into my...
All right, that's enough. I have some questions for you as well, Oedipus.
Go ahead. You'll never prove anything.
Your wife is my sister, right?
Finally, he says something true.
You and the queen share equal power?
Of course. I'm a great husband. I take care of her every wish.
But do I have power more or less equal to the two of you?
Of course. That's why you want to get rid of me.
That's where you're wrong. I have no desire to be king of Thebes. Ask yourself. Why anyone of my status would try to subvert your position when I already enjoy all the comforts and privileges it provides. The people love me. All my needs are met by merely being related to you. If I was in charge, I'd gain nothing more than the responsibility of being accountable to the people of this city. No, thank you. I've other matters I'm involved in. I'm here merely as an advisor and an advisor only. I'm no ruler.
I say you're a terrible advisor. That's what I say.
I've been nothing but dutiful to you this entire time. I've never harbored a secret from you or anyone else. I've advised you faithfully and would never suggest something if I didn't think it was in the people's best interest. Tiresias is a good prophet, perhaps the best we have. Who else should I have called? Anything else would risk jeopardizing our efforts against this plague.
But that's exactly what you've done. Jeopardized me. That blind con artist lied to all of us, and there's no doubt in my mind that you put him up to it. You know what? If I could have my way, I'd have you killed. I would. That's what the people will want after they learn about your betrayal. I think it's a shame that I can't do that, just to show how traitors should be treated.
You've lost your fucking mind.
We are now reaching out to Queen Jocasta for comment.
Have you always been this corrupt, this eager to let Thebes rot?
Think about what you're saying here, how it looks to everyone. Think about if you are wrong.
Enough of you, I still have a job to do.
Which you're not doing well.
Citizens, do you hear him?
My lords, if you could hold for a moment, the Queen is joining the call.
What do you mean she's joining us? She's not here.
My lord, she is contacting us on a separate line from one of your other residences.
Don't bring her onto the call then. What does she have to contribute?
More than you at this point.
What is going on here? Are you two really arguing like this in front of them? The press? You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. The city is dying outside of the palace. A divided leadership is the last thing we should show them. Both of you, exit this call now, before you make things worse.
Sister, your husband intends to banish me or have me shot.
That's right. It's the least I can do for someone who suborns perjury.
May the Theban people rise up and drag me through the streets if I have done anything of the sort.
By heaven, both of you, silence. Believe him, Oedipus. He took the same oath as you when you began your rule. Think of everyone watching.
Lord Oedipus, do you have any clear evidence of Lord Creon's plot against you?
What are you asking for?
My lord, Lord Creon has an impeccable track record of public service. Why do you think he would try to subvert your office?
Have you been listening to any of this?
Yes, my lord, but how can you justify casting out an honored public servant without any clear cause?
I'm going to tell you and the Theban people that men like Creon are the reason we're all in this mess. Men who take advantage of public trust, who operate through false prophets, who intend to divide our city by undermining my office.
My lord, how will you answer the Theban people when they find out that you are removing one of your heads of staff during such a crucial moment of the response to the virus? Do you even have a replacement for him in mind?
Listen, I need you to stop asking such—
My lord, people are wasting away as we speak. How can your administration justify this much internal discord at a time where we are in dire need of a united front?
Discord? What discord? Things are going great here, aside from him. But let's say I'm wrong, for your sake. Let's say I'm wrong this time, and I can let him go. Fine. Fine by me. But when he finally shows his true colors, stabs me and the rest of Thebes in the back, remember, I warned you.
You're relentless. How did we end up here? You're so full of poison, I'm surprised Jocasta doesn't choke when she kisses you.
Weren't you about to leave?
Oh, I'm leaving. You may have forgotten how much I've done for you, but the people of Thebes haven't.
My lady, any comment?
First, tell me, what exactly is happening here?
Lord Creon has been charged with treason.
Treason? Where's the evidence?
To clarify, there are no formal charges against Lord Creon, only an accusation made by Lord Oedipus with no real evidence.
What do you mean? God, some press. You've been nothing but critical of me since this whole thing began, but when Creon is caught red-handed, suddenly there's all this talk of evidence.
My lord, as my network has stated in the past, you've done an immeasurable job leading us. Our gratitude is beyond question. Despite all these baseless accusations made against you by Tiresias and possibly Creon, you still power through. If I'm being frank, I don't think we've ever had a better leader.
For God's sake, Oedipus, what is going on? Why is my brother under suspicion?
Your brother devised a plot to frame me.
Frame you? For what?
He said that I am the man who murdered Laius, that I am the one this virus stems from.
He said that?
Well, no, he didn't say that. He used that lying seer Tiresias as a mouthpiece so he himself wouldn't be suspected.
Oh, don't worry yourself with the likes of Tiresias. Listen to me, and I would like the people of Thebes to know this too. No human being among us possesses the power of prophecy. No one truly knows the plans of the gods above. And I have evidence of this. An oracle once came to Laius from Apollo's servants, not directly from the god, mind you, and declared that whatever child was born to us would be the cause of Laius' death. But, as the lone survivor told us on that terrible day, Laius was killed by strangers where the road to our city divides. Could the perpetrator have been the child Laius and I had together? No. My son was hardly several days old when he unfortunately passed away. He did not murder his father. Laius did not die the way he feared. But was that not what the prophets foretold? You see, citizens, these so-called prophets we employ are nothing but another cog in the machine of our media. They too are only human, just like you and I. And being human, they are susceptible to political intrigue. Listen to them if you like, but don't entertain their words too much. If Apollo wants something known, he will let him know himself. Am I correct, Oedipus?
Excuse me, just 1 second. I'm feeling a little dizzy. My mind is racing.
Are you all right? What's happened?
How do we pause this call? Can we take them out of it for a moment?
Oedipus, what's wrong?
Quiet. Can we mute this call? How do we mute it?
My lord, this channel we are speaking through is public domain. You cannot censor your discussion with Jocasta.
No, this channel is government domain. My government's domain. In fact, remove them from the call now, please.
My lord, this is unprecedented. You
remove them from the call now. Do you hear me? Why aren't you at the palace? Do you realize how bad this looks, talking to you like this?
Well, why couldn't you wait until I've gotten home? What has gotten into you?
Did you say Laius was killed where the road leading to the city divides?
That's what the witness said, yes.
Which intersection specifically?
The one by Phocis. One road leads to Delphi and the other to Dahlia.
When was he killed? When specifically?
We learned of it right before you arrived here.
What is this? Have you been plotting against me too?
Please tell me what's wrong, Oedipus.
Not now. What did Laius look like? I need to know. Was he still young?
His hair had just begun to turn gray, and he was tall, like you.
No, shit! This could be the end of me.
Oedipus, talk to me, please. You're scaring me.
I think Tiresias may not be blind after all. I need you to tell me everything.
Of course, anything.
Did Laius travel light? Or, being a king, did he have a large escort with him?
Just the one car. 3 people were with him.
Oh, it's all becoming clear. Who gave you this information?
The driver, the only one who survived.
Where is he now?
We don't know. When he came back here, he saw that you'd already taken power. He found me before your official coronation and begged me to dismiss him from my service, to send him as far away from the city as I can manage. Well, I obliged, of course, and he was obviously ashamed at being the only survivor at the hands of those awful robbers who killed Laius.
We need to get ahead of this. Is there any way to find him, to bring him here?
Well, I'm certain we could, but why would we want to?
Nothing. I've already said too much. Just trust me when I say I need to see him face to face.
That's enough, Oedipus. I am not another one of your servants. I am the Queen of Thebes, and I have the right above all others to know what has gotten you into this frenzy. So speak.
Very well. Besides, who better to confide in than you, my dearest? I don't think I ever told you, but my father and mother ruled over the distant city of Corinth. Their names were Polybus and Merope. I was their loyal prince and loved by all before an incident caused a stir within the kingdom. One of the city's tabloids released an article declaring that I was illegitimate. This accusation ate away at me until finally I sought out my parents to question them. They angrily denied it, and the tabloid was dissolved on the grounds of libel. I took a little pleasure in that, but the thought still stayed with me, even as the seasons passed. I secretly made my way to Pytho to learn from Apollo and his prophets if I was truly illegitimate, but they refused to answer my questions and instead told me of a terrible future in store for me. Apollo said that I would find myself in my mother's bed, that we would share with the world our terrible offspring, and that I would be my father's murderer. After this, how could I return home to face my parents? No, I fled Corinth and made sure to put as much ground as possible between me and family so that the oracle's horrible words would never come true. Eventually, I reached the divide in the roads where you said Laius met his end. I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I was walking down the road, hoping to hitch a ride to the next city. A car stopped, and the driver demanded to know who I was. Was I in the area legitimately, or was I trespassing some illegal alien? When I refused to answer, 2 men got out of the car and tried to subdue me. I made short work of them, and then I noticed a third in the back seat. He was trembling, and I approached him to make amends. I heard a shot. He'd been concealing a pistol and had tried to kill me, but his hands shook so badly that he missed his mark. I didn't think twice. I took the gun from him and killed both him and the 2 men that were beginning to recover. By this time, the driver had gotten off the road and disappeared into the brush. Now, if that man in the car and Laius were the same person, is there any hope for me whatsoever? You heard my decree earlier. The punishment for his death must fall on me. But how can I let that happen? I had no choice but to come here. Those men shouldn't have stopped and harassed me. A man doing his best to avoid the horrible prophecies placed on him. It was either come here or remain in Corinth, becoming my mother's husband and murdering my father Polybus. I would never live to see that day. Can you imagine what everyone would think of me then? The stories they would tell?
My lord, you've given me a lot to consider. Maybe we should just wait for them to find the old driver.
Yes. That's my only hope.
What are you hoping he'll say?
Let me explain. If he corroborates the story that you have all told me about Laius's death, then I have nothing to worry about.
What did I say that could use corroboration?
You said that he spoke about being attacked by robbers, that it was a group of men who murdered Laius. Do you understand me? Men. If he still refers to men, no one can call me the murderer because I'm just one person. No one will be able to blame me for any of this. Not Creon or Tiresias.
I promise you that he has already told us that it was a group of men. He wouldn't be changing his narrative now. The whole city heard his testimony. And even if he does change what he said, it won't make a difference. Tiresias' accusations against you will still fall flat because these prophets don't know what in the world they're talking about. Laius was not killed by my child because he left that poor child to die in the mountains. Really, you need to quit caring what these people think.
What did you say about Laius?
What? Nothing I haven't said already.
You said Laius left your son to die in the mountains.
Oedipus, I don't...
What happened to Laius' son?
I need you to listen to me now. No one knows about this. Not even Creon. And nothing could be gained from sharing it. Nothing. It was horrible what happened to our baby. Truly. But you have to understand the reasoning behind it. If Laius hadn't taken the action he did, as our son grew older, he might have learned of the terrible prophecies, and the mere notion might lead him to fulfilling them. That is the danger with these cursed prophets. If I had my way, we'd be rid of them all tomorrow, but the Theban people insist on their knowledge. What else could have Laius done? Sat by until one day someone inspired his son to murder him? He's dead now anyway, so let it lie.
You're right. Fine. Have you been keeping anything else from me?
Nothing.
All right. Good. I'm going to find us a line to that driver who witnessed the murder.
Did I bring the press back into this call?
Yes, do that. Then make some sort of statement to throw them off.
Yes, my lord.
And after some minor technical difficulties, we are back. Thank you all for your patience, and we will continue taking comments while we work everything out.
Excuse me, you can't possibly believe those were...
Eddie Daddy 45 writes, I love Lord Oedipus's response to this virus. It was a beautiful response. He is a beautiful leader. I agree, Eddie Daddy 45. Thank you for your kind words. And if Lord Oedipus is watching right now, I'm sure he's grateful for people like you. It can't be easy guiding our city through this unsteady period.
Hold on, we need to talk about what just happened.
Another comment, this time from Patriot Mom 777. I thought we lived in a city that gave justice to all people, that didn't blindly accuse the government of causing epidemics based on flimsy evidence. Tiresias hasn't proven anything. He can't prove that he can talk to Apollo. He has a liberal bias. Hashtag stand with Oedipus. This viewer brings up a good point. How do we know exactly that Tiresias can interpret Apollo's will? He may have gotten lucky in the past. In times like this, we cannot be basing our hopes on luck.
Good mendicant guy just wrote in, what were they talking about just now? Why did the audio cut out? Too much of a coincidence. Hashtag media blackout. I agree with you, good mendicant guy. Suppose that was just a technical difficulty. It appeared they were still talking about something that pertained to us. Don't the people of Thebes have a right to know?
A right to know what? It was nothing. This is a relatively new format we're using. I'm sure they were just confused
Another comment from the viewer Pancakes Forever. Oedipus is definitely not telling us the whole truth. You think we just lost the feed? Hilarious. There is something that we are not being told, and in a time like this, we deserve the truth. I agree wholeheartedly with this viewer. We need answers. We can't wait for whatever Oedipus decides is okay to hear. We need to solve...
Excuse me, sorry to cut you off. I just received word that Queen Jocasta will be rejoining us to make a statement. She's entering the call on a line from her private escort and is currently en route back to the palace.
Welcome back, everyone. I would like to make the formal announcement on behalf of King Oedipus. While no one could have better handled this crisis we find ourselves in, our Lord still worries that our city's suffering is compounded daily, and he is not wrong. And I worry for his tender heart, which weeps so much for all of our fellow Thebans. And so I would like to invoke the god Apollo, whose omnipotent hand guides us all. And remember that Apollo dwells within all of us, and that those who would claim to know his works are liars and snake oil salesman. I'm not sure what inspired my brother Creon to summon that Tiresias, but I will be having a stern conversation with him on that matter. You can believe me. In the meantime, I will continue to pray to Apollo, and in hopes that he might point us in the right direction himself. I'm sure that we will be receiving a sign from him anytime soon.
My lady, we just received word that a diplomat from the city of Corinth will be joining this call. It seems they have some exciting news to share with us.
Really? Oh, blessed be the gods. Blessed be Apollo. If these are the answers we seek, we'll make sure to always pay you the respects you deserve.
The diplomat is joining us now.
Good evening, all. Could someone please get me in touch with Lord Oedipus, king of this city?
We are contacting him now. In the meantime, this is our proud lady Jocasta, Queen of Thebes.
My lady, may you and your husband's household prosper for the rest of your reign.
Yes, thank you. Tell me, why do you join us today? What news do you have to share?
Bittersweet news, my lady.
Go on.
The people of Corinth desire Oedipus to become their ruler.
What about Beliebus?
Unfortunately, our proud ruler is no longer with us.
What? Oedipus's father is dead?
May I die on the spot if I ever lied about such a thing.
Oh, someone get Oedipus on the line. Hurry. And maybe one of those fool prophets my brother employs. What they would have to say about this. The very man that Oedipus feared would die by his hand is now dead by some other means. Not Oedipus.
My lady, what is this you're talking about? What does it have to do with the prophets of our city? Was Oedipus suspected of some homicidal plot?
That's enough. Oedipus is joining the call now.
What's going on? Who's this person?
Just listen to the news and then decide for yourself whether we should worry about these silly prophets. My lord, your father, Polybus, is no longer with us. He's dead.
Is this true?
Yes, my lord. And let me be the first to offer my condolences. Your father has passed away.
Was it some plot that did him in, or was he sick?
He passed away peacefully in his sleep last night after spending the last few days in an unfortunate decline.
So the poor man died from sickness.
Yes, he was quite old.
Amazing! Do you hear that, Jocasta? The oracles were wrong. The old man died from natural causes, not in the way they predicted. Their words mean nothing. We're safe. Of course, I must still beware my mother's bed.
Oh, put that fake prophecy out of your mind. In what world would you ever find yourself in that situation?
Excuse me, my lord, what is this prophecy you're referring to? Is this a new development that you'd like to share with us all?
If you really would like to know, then I'll oblige. I have no secrets to keep from my people. Some lying prophet, much like that Tiresias you're all so fond of, declared that I would share my mother's bed and that my own father's blood would stain my hands. Because of this, I've always kept myself clear from anything involving Corinth. I missed my parents, sure, but I'm sure you all would agree that I was doing the right thing coming here.
So that's why you've been away all these years?
Of course. I didn't want to kill my father. Are you deaf? And I appreciate your offer of leadership, but I must respectfully decline. Now that everyone knows about this prophecy, it probably wouldn't be a good look being seen with my mother.
What if I could tell you that you didn't have to worry about any of that?
You'd find that I'm very generous when I show my gratitude.
Wonderful. I do hope you'll keep me in mind when you're appointed king at Corinth.
Did you not just hear me when I said that I can't be seen with my mother? The press would would make a meal out of that.
Why? Because this prophecy that says you'll do such horrible things to your parents?
Yes, of course. The tabloids seize any little thing they can.
Well, they won't have much to say because you and Polybus aren't related.
What?
You share no more blood with him than me.
What do you mean? Then why did he always call me son?
You were a gift I gave him myself. Polybus was sterile, and him and his wife took it very hard. When I presented you to them, they were more than happy to take you in as their own.
Where did I come from?
I found you in a large clearing in a forest near Mount Cithrin back when I still herded sheep. Your poor ankles were bound together, but I released them and brought you back with me.
Who would do such a thing to me?
The man who left you there could answer that. I asked him who he was, but he just called himself one of Laius's men. He was a shepherd around those parts too.
Where is he now?
You all would probably have a better idea than me.
Does anyone know of this shepherd that he's referring to?
He's not a shepherd anymore.
Who cares what he is now? Someone bring him here.
Oedipus, drop the matter. It wasn't right what happened to you, but it's not worth reopening old wounds for. Don't concern yourself with all of these stories.
I need to know who I am and where I came from. Do you see these reporters here all before us? Can you imagine the rampant speculation if I don't give them an answer?
We have other things to worry about. The virus. What about the virus? And the economy? It can't be doing well during these awful times. Why have none of you been discussing our economy? People are suffering, and here we are in this foolish conference, just blowing hot air over prophecies in backwater towns like Corinth.
Jocasta, do not undermine me.
Quit spending all this time thinking of nothing but yourself. What do any of us have to stand to gain from learning something about your past?
The truth of my life will not affect you, but it will affect me. I need to know, Jocasta.
I'm pulling into the palace gates now. Please, be reasonable. End this call and come meet me. I'm only recommending what's best for you, dearest.
What's best means nothing in the face of these people. I've been saying and doing my best for years, and look at how they still treat me. Someone establish a line for that shepherd. I want him on this call now.
I weep for you, Oedipus. I weep for this country. That's all I will say now. That's all I will ever say.
Lord Oedipus, why do you think Jocasta left the call just now? She seemed distraught. Is she keeping something from us?
Nothing good comes from a silence like that.
Let her cry it off. I'll tell you what I think it is. She's worried for me and for our country because of all of you. She's worried that it will come forward that I'm not descended from royal blood because she knows that the media will take this and run with it. They'll say I'm not fit to lead and that I'm purposefully trying to hide the circumstances from which I come. But that's simply not the case. No matter who I am, I'm still the city's leader. I made myself great and no one can deny this. Oh, they'll try. They have tried. But I'm me. And I would like to assure the Theban people that I won't become another man simply by finding out the truth of my birth.
Artfully spoken, my lord. I couldn't agree more. While we wait for the location of the shepherd, how about we go over some comments from our viewers?
Sure. What do they have to say?
Eddie Daddy 45 writes, Thebans dead today because of previous administration and Laius's ineptitude, not Lord Oedipus. Laius funded the research of biological warfare in Corinth during his reign. Look it up. That's an interesting idea. Lord Oedipus, what do you make of it?
I think it's worth looking into. No one talks enough about the mess I inherited when I came into office. Things were terrible, truly. I don't know if Laius did what the viewer said, but I think it's worth looking into. People watching now can look into it themselves if they like. Lots of things have been hidden from us, from me. I'm not saying it's true, but I'm not saying it's false either.
My lord, there is no basis for this claim. The virus originated and is localized here in Thebes. What is this talk about biological warfare? The experts at Pytho made it clear that the virus is stemming from the person...
You know, I'm not sure about those people in Pytho anymore. This information we've been receiving from them, I don't know if it's the right information. I think we need to seriously reconsider whether or not those people are telling the truth. There needs to be an investigation into what's going on there, because I think they might be misleading us.
My lord, Pytho is a well-established center of the prophetic field. In all their time of operation, not once have they been wrong, and it's grossly irresponsible to...
You know, I think Lord Oedipus might be onto something here. Who are these prophets that we're all trusting so much? Queen Jocasta made some excellent points earlier as well. I think it's high time the Theban people stopped and considered the agenda of these prophets.
Stop! You cannot continue to discredit an institution that has served the Theban people for so long. You must realize how dangerous it is to undermine this pillar of ice.
Hold on, wait. My lord, I just received word that the shepherd of concern has been located. We are establishing a link with him now.
Great, that's wonderful news. I'm sure he'll have some very enlightening things to share with us. I've never met this man before, but he looks like he'd be the one. He's the right age, according to Jocasta. What do you all think?
My lord, we have several sources confirming that he is, in fact, one of Laius's old staff. He was his driver.
Excuse me?
This man was in Laius's employ. He was a driver before
never mind. Corinthian. Is this the man?
This is him, my lord.
So, you worked for Laius, old man?
I did, sir. My whole life.
What type of work did you do?
I was a shepherd for a time, then a driver.
And did you know this man here?
Why? What did he do? Wait, who are you talking about?
This man here. Do you know him?
I couldn't say right now from memory.
I'm not surprised, but I can help him remember. Old man, before you went on to become a driver, we were shepherds together. Don't you remember? We guided the sheep through the same valleys around Mount Cithron. For 6 months, we worked side by side. Then you received word that you would become Laius's personal driver for services to his administration, and we parted ways. Do you remember?
Ah, yes. But this was a long, long time ago.
Do you remember giving me a baby? One that I was supposed to raise myself.
What's going on? Why do you ask that?
I'm not here to upset you, but that baby has grown into your Lord Oedipus.
Damn it! Can't you learn to be quiet?
Old man, you'd better not put him off. Watch what you say.
My noble lord, what have I done wrong?
You haven't answered him about the child.
This Corinthian is ignorant. He's only come here to waste your time.
I'm losing my patience here, old man. We've asked you kindly. Should we try a different approach?
Oh, God. I'm but an old man. Please don't torture me.
That's enough. Send someone to his home and bring him here for further questioning.
No, please, you miserable man. What is it you need to know?
You gave this man the child he's speaking of?
I did, and only wish that I had died that day.
If you don't talk, you'll finally get your wish.
If I do talk, I fear I'll get it anyway.
This man is bent on wasting our time.
What? I've already admitted to giving away the child.
But where did this child come from? Was he yours? Was he someone else's?
He wasn't mine. He came from somewhere else.
Where? From here in Thebes?
My lord, please don't ask me any more.
If I have to ask again, the punishment will be severe.
All right. The child was from Laius.
You mean a servant's child?
Oh, please don't make me say it.
I have to hear it. We all need to hear it.
They said that Laius fathered him, but someone else could tell the story better. Your wife.
She gave the child to you?
She did.
With what instructions?
Get rid of him.
His own mother? Why?
Something about a prophecy.
What prophecy?
That he'd be his father's murderer.
Well, why did you give the child to this man?
Pity. What else could I have done? I assumed he'd carry him far away, to places unknown to Thebes. And I see now that he did as I asked. He saved the infant for greater misery. Are you truly this cursed child?
I need a moment.
A shocking revelation just now. Lord Oedipus has been revealed to be none other than the child of our previous ruler Laius. Could this mean that he is the murderer we seek? As the prophecy Queen Jocasta shared with us indicates, Laius would be murdered by his own child. Is Lord Oedipus guilty of the crime that has for so long gone unpunished? If we exile him, will the virus finally subside?
And now wait a minute, you're jumping to conclusions here. So what if he's Laius' son? That's great in my book. The royal lineage has gone on unbroken. Thebes couldn't have a more fitting leader. And I'm tired of hearing about these prophecies. They're false. They're political hit jobs designed to make us question our leadership. Lord Oedipus has been and will continue to be our king. The only thing he's guilty of is permitting the dangerous accusations of two-bit reporters like you.
Well, how do you explain why he got off the call just now? Why isn't he still with us, celebrating his newly discovered royal blood?
I'm not going to dignify that with a response. I see we've been receiving more comments. Creon for Prison 66 writes, people want a solution to this crisis. This crisis is like a war. And in wartime, you put politics aside and support the king. Shame on Creon and the fake news media. Thebes has no need for their petty obstruction any longer. You have made an excellent point here, Creon for Prison 66. It is high time that we leave all these petty political machinations by the side of the road where they belong.
Listen to yourself. Fake news media? Are you being serious?
Your station has obviously lost the plot of what's really going on here. Your views are fully removed from that of the people.
Ed is killing, writes, we have enough evidence to take Oedipus to trial. If he's too proud to save the lives of millions, he's got the wrong job. Impeach him. Get him out. People are dying.
What you're doing, cherry-picking comments from the section, I don't
Oedipus
understand
off, writes, Oedipus needs to go. He's clearly not fit to run Thebes. Thebes was better before you came. Hashtag not my king. Hashtag get him out of office.
This is ridiculous. What are you gaining by going into the...
Thebes realize something's wrong here. We're not seeing the whole picture. We need to know exactly what's going on now. This is beyond politics. People are dying out there, and we cannot keep letting Oedipus get in the way of helping them.
That's Lord Oedipus.
Shut up! Hold on, we're getting a call now. Someone inside the palace. Hello? You're on the air now.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Yes, who is this?
Something terrible has happened at the palace.
We're listening now. What do you have for us?
I didn't see, but Queen Jocasta is dead. God save us all, she's dead. We heard Oedipus raging about out in the driveway, and we looked out and saw her lying on the ground, her skin blue. And Oedipus, oh, Apollo protect us, he walked about ranting, his eyes put out of his head, blood streaming down his cheeks. When he calmed down a little, he realized that he was not alone, that we were watching him. He called for the guards to subdue us. Even now, they're looking for us. I think I heard a shot earlier there. I need to go.
Shocking news from a source inside the Palace of Thebes. Queen Jocasta is possibly dead and Oedipus injured. We are reaching out to the palace now for confirmation.
Who was that on the line just now?
They did not share their identity with us for fear of retribution.
This is unprecedented. We don't know who this man is, and we're just supposed to take his word for it?
We're reaching out to the palace for confirmation now.
No! This is ridiculous. You're wasting my time, our viewers' time, and Lord Oedipus's time when you entertain the idea of something as outlandish as this. I've had it. You're not the news. You and your people are a bunch of fearmongers doing your best to paralyze the people of Thebes with these foolish narratives.
And you're propaganda at best. You have done nothing but pat Oedipus on the back when he could be doing very serious harm to the people of Thebes.
I'm supporting our leader, the man that we put in office, something that you are loath to do. In fact, hold on, I've just received word that Oedipus will be joining this call now. Good evening, my lord. You're live now.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to issue a public statement on our continued efforts against this terrible plague that has besieged our city. Unfortunately, the information we've received from Pytho regarding the plague and how to cure it was false. No doubt fabricated by one of the many enemies of my administration. This disease's persistence does not stem from a single man, some single murderer who ended Laius's life. As you all know, as you all have heard in the past, Laius was murdered by men, not a man, plural. We should have known this discrepancy. We should have known this was false when we realized this discrepancy, and I'd like to apologize to the good people of Thebes for wasting resources on this dead end. I'd like to assure you all that this was not my fault, and that I will hold those responsible accountable. I would also like to say...
My lord, we've received word that there has been an incident in the royal palace.
An incident?
My lord, what is the current state of Queen Jocasta?
Fine. She's fine.
My lord, not 5 minutes ago, we received reports from an inside source that Jocasta—
Shut up! Shut up! I know what you're going to say. It's a lie. Fake news. We have found the people within our administration who have endeavored to spread such hateful information, and we are dealing with them as we speak. Now, if I may get back to my original statement, I would like to make it very clear that my administration and I are doing everything within our power to combat this novel virus. Despite the bad information we've received, we will attack this disease mercilessly. I have a professional stake in the matter, in fact. In the past hour, we have received word that Queen Jocasta has herself been afflicted with this terrible virus. Her condition has worsened, so we are placing her in quarantine and bringing in the best experts we can to try and keep her from getting any worse. Understandably, she will not be making any public appearances during this time. She's fighting for her life, and it's best we give her leave to recover. Finally, I would like to address my current appearance, which I'm sure you all have noticed. An attempt on my life was made on me this evening by agents within my own administration. Unbelievable, I know. My guards, some of the best men I have, managed to subdue the attackers, but unfortunately not before they were able to injure my eyes. My doctors tell me that the damage is bad, but not irreversible, and so I ask you all to not worry. I'm still here. I'm still going to fight this. I am going to solve this. But now, after much investigation and consideration, I would like to formally identify Creon as the instigator for this terrible act. I would like... He has made endless attempts to frustrate my efforts to fight this virus and restore Thebes to order, and this last act of terrorism proves it all. I would like the people of Thebes to rest assured that him and all his conspirators will be dealt with and punished to the full extent of the law. In these trying times, I ask you all to come together. We will survive this. We will emerge from it stronger. All will be well.
My lord, will there be a formal investigation into...
Good night.
Lord Oedipus has left the call. I see that our comment section is really starting to blow up. I want to assure the viewers at home that we are doing everything that we can to get back in touch with Lord Oedipus to determine what is going on.
Hold on a minute. I don't see any need to bring Lord Oedipus back into the call. I think he's made it very clear what's going on here.
He has accused his top advisor of committing an act of terrorism. His wife might be dead, and we've learned that he's responsible for bringing this virus into Thebes. You're right. It is abundantly clear what's going on here.
Did you listen to anything Lord Oedipus said? His wife is recovering from the virus.
The government
and Creon has
manipulated you and you don't even know it.
Line your pockets.
I'm wearing this ironic mask. It's actually a symbol of mind control. Don't get yourself in control.
Pervasiveness and denial of any wrong to he's poisoned the
and how they're plotting against Lord Oedipus.
Journalism. Didn't it strike you odd that Lord Oedipus story multiple times right now?
Warn yourselves. No.
All of his advisors begin to turn on him. Creon, Tiresias. My lord, I see that you've decided to rejoin us. Do you have anything new to share with us?
No. I'd just like to announce that this public forum we've got going on will be discontinued. Enough of this arguing. People have enough to worry about. Remove them from the call.
My lord, please, you cannot...